going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now. So we are here, ladies and gents, back with a match that I actually got to record at locals, and I haven't actually seen this match because I was at locals myself. So we've got Branded Despia versus Brave Synchro. So Brave Synchro is actually going first in this instance, being able to start off plays with a Foxy tune, which is always a great feeling. Foxy tunes definitely got risen in popularity. I mean, I managed to buy Foxy tune at I think like £2 or £3, and now it's like £30, which is crazy, just because it's that powerful of a card. And obviously access to it is very limited with grand creators kind of out of print. But anyway, nevertheless, manages to summon the Deer Note from deck, as well as normal summon Ash Blossom, which is probably not the most optimal of plays, which kind of telegraphs that the hand wasn't the strongest, to be honest. So does manage to make it into a Chaos Ruler, chaotic or magical dragon, and revives the Foxy tune with Deer Note's effect when it leaves the field. So Chaos Ruler is going to go ahead and mill 5 from the top of the deck here, and our Brave Synchro player will have the ability to add a light or dark monster. Now obviously this is locals, ladies and gents, and as you've seen right here, our Brave Synchro player actually changed their mind on what to add. Now obviously in a regional setting you probably wouldn't be able to get away with that because the card was added to hand, and arguably you could say it's been shuffled and you put a different card back, but it's local, so it's a little bit more relaxed. But that was obviously the reason why they wanted to add the Ogre Dance rather than add the Rose Dragon, because they opened the Basil Rose Shoot as a one-of, which is crazy. So revives it with the Basil Rose Shoot to then Synchro off into Psychic and Punisher. So I'm not too sure why that card specifically was used. Maybe it's their only 11 and I wanted to get into the Crystron Halki Fibrax, which makes a little bit of sense, but it just seems like a shame to be able to waste the Halki Fibrax effectively. Well, not waste the Halki Fibrax, but waste the Psychic End Punisher, because Psychic End Punisher is one hell of a card, ladies and gents, but in this situation specifically, it does not do a whole lot. The life points are equal and our opponent doesn't have any cards on field, so at the moment it's just a body. But arguably he needed to get into link plays and he needed to special summon another Rose Dragon from deck to be able to then go to this line, which we're seeing right now, which is Jet Synchron and then Souls. So kind of telegraphing where they're going with the deck. Obviously gonna go for the Artifact Dagda and then try and set up the Scythe Lock, which, I mean, I'm kind of tired of seeing it, but it is a powerful play nonetheless. But in this instance it's a little bit telegraphed, so one card in hand in a Brave Synchro player's hand, so interesting to see where this pans out. So our Branded Despia player is going to start their turn, and I believe I can see a Cosmic Cyclone in hand, so that is going to ruin somebody's day. So our Branded Despia player starts off with a Luba, which is always going to be strong, searching whatever branded spell you need from your deck to your hand. And our Brave Synchro player decides to chain to set the Scythe from deck, as well as activate Crystron Halki Fibrax effects to effectively Synchro summon on your opponent's turn into a Synchro monster. Decides to go for the usual TG Wonder Magician play, but gets met with a Cosmic Cyclone. So that is that play done and dusted, ladies and gents. And like I said previously, like when it's telegraphed like that, I wouldn't say it's easy to deal with, but the out was already there. So now you've got no more interaction. If you're the Brave Synchro player, you've got no more interaction on your side of the field, and you just literally have to watch your opponent just combo off. And when your opponent is summoning monsters via Branded Fusion, you always know it's going to be a hell of a problem, because Branded Fusion just gets you so far. Now I know our Brave Synchro player has kind of clocked the fact that the Aluba was sent off the Branded Fusion, which is easily rectified, because Branded Fusion needs to send a Fallen of Albaz plus any other monster depending on the fusion monster you're summoning, obviously. So that is rectified, and then Lubellion's going to go ahead and use their effect as well as Despian Tragedy to be able to search. So we're seeing a Aluba for a potential follow-up, as well as the fusion summon of, it's gotta be, yeah, fusion summon of the almighty Mirror Jade. So as soon as Mirror Jade hits the field, activates its effect to dump a Albion to the graveyard to be able to non-target and banish the Psychic End Punisher, which is basically one of the reasons why Psychic End Punisher probably wasn't the most optimal of plays, but looking at the hand, potentially that's all that could have been done. And board is clear, and we are seeing our branded Despia player set 1, 2, 3 cards, which is absolutely crazy, and then proceeds to go to end phase after attacking over both monsters to then go ahead and set yet another form of interaction in the form of branded banishment. So our opponent, or our Brave Synchro player, is not in the best of situations here, checking his graveyard for some kind of idea of what he could potentially do. I mean, potentially could be over the Aluba, which probably wouldn't have achieved much, and looking at the hand, I can see an E-Telly, but he decides to scoop it up because he has seen enough. Not really much he could do there, just really unfortunate with the hand that he got, but nevertheless our branded Despia player takes game 1. Okay, ladies and gents, we are back. Siding seems to be complete. Players are cutting each other's deck and we're going straight in. So my assumption would be that the Brave Synchro player would want to go first, especially after just what happened previously. He wants to get his combo off. He got pretty far, to be honest, but the Cosmic Cyclone was a great interruption. It effectively ended all the interaction on the Brave Synchro's side. So starting us off here, does not look like he's opened the best, as he has normal summoned a Rox Rose Dragon, which is going to grab him a Basil Rose Shoot. So arguably he has not opened the best, so that is telegraphing that he's got a little bit of a weak hand, or is potentially drawn into a lot of hand traps or a lot of his side deck cards. So again, thinking about his plays here, let's see what he can do. Proceeds to activate the Basil Rose Shoot to special summon the Red Rose Dragon. So yes, he opened, I believe that's 2 one-offs, to be honest. One of those is a Crystron Halki Fibrax target, with the other one being a target for the other one. I believe it's Crystron Halki Fibrax summons Red Rose summons Rox Rose grabs Basil Rose Shoot. But he's gone into Halki Fibrax, and that is met with an effect failure, and effectively that's ended its turn, which is crazy. So standby phase, our Brave Synchro player decides to flip the Anti-Spell Fragrance, which is a blowout card against branded Despia in certain situations. But our branded Despia player does have the branded opening, pitching the DD Crow for card effect to be able to special summon a monster or add it to hand straight from the deck, and it proceeds to add the Aluba, which is an interesting play because he's decided to normal summon the Aluba, and the only argument for this could be to try and force the Crystron Halki Fibrax to tag out by going straight into battle phase, because Aluba doesn't have any defense. Its defense is 0, so effectively if you'd have special summoned it off branded opening, you potentially wouldn't have got very far anyway because you're under Anti-Spell Fragrance. So there's no point in grabbing the branded fusion because you won't be able to use it until next turn, and if potentially your next turn you could be dead, especially if the Brave Synchro player decides to pop off. But he does indeed do that, forcing the Crystron Halki Fibrax to use its effect to tag out to Synchro or special summon, which is treated as a Synchro summon from the extra deck, summoning the Shooting Riser Dragon. So Riser Dragon on Synchro summon will dump 1 card from the deck, and our Brave Synchro player is just revealing that he does have the Jet Synchron, which is a known quantity from the previous match, to be honest. And he's just deciding whether or not to dump the Synchro or the Jet Synchron or the Fairy Tale Snow. proceeds to dump the snow off Shooting Riser Dragon's effect with our branded Despia player just proceeding to set 2 and then pass turn. So our Brave Synchro player draws for turn, and I believe you can see an E-Telly in his hand, which is not going to do anything under Anti-Spell Fragrance, unfortunately. His own Anti-Spell Fragrance, so he's in a bit of a pickle here. He did not open the strongest of hands. I mean, Anti-Spell Fragrance is very good, but if you can't capitalize off it, and I'm also seeing is that a Draco back? Wow. He has not opened the best. So like I said, ladies and gents, it can be crippling. Anti-Spell Fragrance is only as good as the cards that back it up, along with a lot of other cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, ladies and gents. It's a very strong card, and it does slow down or even stop branded Despia, but you need to be able to capitalize on its effects. You're effectively just kind of saving yourself for a turn. So I am seeing a couple of cards. I do see a Draco back, I see a emergency teleport, and I can't decide what the last card is, which is definitely gonna have to be a monster card because he's going to summon it, I believe. So our Brave Synchro player thinking very, very hard about what he can do here, because he knows on the crackback you've got to contend with branded in red, potentially a branded fusion, whatever hand traps that the branded Despia player is playing. So proceeds to go straight into battle phase, attack over the Luba with Shooting Riser Dragon, and then sets 2 cards. One of them being back row. I'm assuming he set the I'm assuming he set the emergency teleport, but it's not going to be live until his next turn anyway, and he could potentially even be dead by then, but not in the best of positions. So our branded Despia player obviously on his turn has priority, and we are seeing a branded fusion being fired off, and you know what this means, ladies and gents. It's not the most optimal positions to be in if you are on the receiving end of branded fusion, because ultimately it's going to end in a Mirror Jade and potentially some more forms of interaction, whether that be like Fairy Tail Snow, for example, which was dumped off the branded fusion, as well as stuff like Mirror Jade, Albelenitus, Albion, which we're seeing here. There's just so many options that this card can help to facilitate, which means that it's going to be difficult for our Brave Synchro player to actually contest any of the cards being resolved here. So just deciding on plays. I believe our Brave Synchro player was kind of calling a bit of a bluff to see if they could kind of resolve Fairy Tail Snow, which is a possibility, but I just can't see that happening. You're going to lose literally all your advantage, and you're just going to be sitting on a Fairy Tail Snow. So our branded Despia player obviously resolves our Mirror Jade and proceeds to banish a token collector, which I think is a little bit interesting, specifically as token generation in our branded Despia players deck is not as prevalent as it would be in something like Sword Soul. So pretty interesting, but nevertheless we can see a resolution of branded in red here. And we know that Guardian Chimera is going to hit the field, as well as having Ad Libitum Engrave. Our branded Despia player is absolutely stacked with just resources upon resources. So Guardian Chimera is obviously going to do its thing, as well as Ad Libitum being able to bring back the Mirror Jade. So off that small interaction, our branded Despia players 2 fresh cards in hand, as well as a Guardian Chimera and a what are we seeing here? Oh, he went to chain it, as well as a Mirror Jade. He went to chain the E-Telly, but obviously it was set off Anti-Spell Fragrance, so that cannot be resolved, ladies and gents. So there was a little bit of a dispute here, I believe. So what the argument was Mirror Jade can't activate its effect to non-targeting banish more than once per turn, when in fact it's actually only a soft once per turn. So providing Mirror Jade leaves the field in any capacity and then comes back, it is treated as a different copy of Mirror Jade. So Mirror Jade can definitely then go ahead and do its thing to non-targeting banish by dumping a monster from the extra deck to the graveyard, ladies and gents. So that definitely is an interaction that does come up, and it can happen. So Mirror Jade is going to resolve here after the judge was called, just to kind of dispute the fact, because I'm not too sure if people were aware of that ruling, which it is a ruling, ladies and gents, and it has been around for a short while, but it's not common for it to be resolving so frequently. So Mirror Jade is going to do its thing here, and we're going to see the Alba Lenitus being dumped off Mirror Jade's effect to be able to non-target and banish the Shooting Riser Dragon. And obviously our Guardian Chimera was summoned off branded in red, so can't attack directly, but our Mirror Jade is free to do whatever it likes, whether it wants to attack or whatever. So still under anti-spell fragrance, our branded Despia player decides to resolve both Albion and Alba Lenitus to be able to set one, as well as add one from deck to hand during end phase. And if there's one thing about branded Despia, ladies and gents, the card advantage it can generate off just resolving one branded fusion is just absolutely crazy. We're seeing 3 cards in hand, 2 big huge monsters on field. We've seen an anti-spell fragrance, so if our Brave Synchro player did have any plays going forward, it's going to be hampered by the anti-spell fragrance, which is actually crippling himself, to be honest. And like I mentioned previously, you really need to be able to capitalize on it if you're going to play that card. But unfortunately did not draw the best of hands, because I believe I am seeing the Draco back, which has been in hand for a while, and I can't really catch exactly what the last remaining card was. So just checking his graveyard, checking to see if there's anything he could potentially do. Proceeds to set 2 cards. Trying not to play in any kind of imperm column, but I'll be honest, with no monsters on field, this is going to be pretty difficult, and our branded Despia player must have read the game situation, which implies that our Brave Synchro players got nothing but spells set, to be honest, because they would have done something if it was anything other than spells. So that is it, ladies and gents. Done, dusted, finished with. We've seen branded Despia take a swift and convincing 2-0. A little bit unfortunate on the Brave Synchro players side, because he did not have the best of hands both going first in both games, so unfortunately took the L there. But nevertheless, it is what it is. This is Yu-Gi-Oh, ladies and gents. So we find ourselves at the end of another video. As always, if you do like this content, you know what to do by now. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all of that beautiful good stuff, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.